Well, a very, very happy Friday morning to everyone, and welcome to the John Kentera Show on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Hope everyone had a great week to this point. Man, yesterday, holy Toledo. How about our San Diego Padres? They went from being a fringe playoff team to maybe now seriously a World Series contender. What do you think? Wow, what a day for A.J. Preller and the Padre organization. I have no idea how much money the Padres took on. I don't think they took a lot on, though. With all these moves and only having to give up one guy or two guys right now that are on their major league roster, and Stephen Kolek had actually gotten optioned out, and Ryan Bergert, they gave up Brandon Lockridge in a deal. But holy Toledo, what a day for A.J. Preller. Seriously, the Padres now are a legitimate World Series contender. And I got to tell you, the National League is tough. I mean, the Mets got better. The Phillies definitely got better. Dodgers added a bullpen piece. You had a couple of teams kind of move parts off of their ball club. I mean, Arizona's waved the white flag. I was kind of surprised they didn't trade Zach Gallen, but they traded Eugenio Suarez. They traded Josh Naylor a week ago. They traded Merrill Kelly yesterday. But they kept Zach Gallen. They'll probably give him a qualifying offer and not having a great year. Maybe he'll come back for another year if he accepts a qualifying offer, if they even make that to him. And the Giants, a couple of their bullpen pieces went by Taylor Rogers, Camilo Doval, and they sent Mike Yastrzemski out of there as well. So right now in the West, it's a two-team race, it looks like. Padres start play today, 3 games back of the Dodgers. But man, let's talk about the Padres and what they were able to get done. And we start off with the deal yesterday morning. I mean, what a unbelievable move AJ Preller made with the A's. I mean, getting Mason Miller. Now, here's a guy that's 26 years of age, a guy that is going to be under team control until 2029. He has thrown as high as 104. Okay, he throws regularly at 100, 101, big time arm. I know he'd like to be a starter, but I don't think that's in the cards for him. And I'm going to tell you why. You go back to 2023, he had some arm issues when he was in the starting rotation. The UCL starting to give him a little problem. And I think throwing that hard over a period of 5 or 6 innings, I think he'd probably wear down. I think he's right where he needs to be. They also get left-handed pitcher J.P. Sears. Sears is 7-9 with a 4.95 ERA, a career record of 29-39, 4.48. He'll throw a lot of innings for you. You know what? Anytime you can take a veteran left-hander who has something left, and he's a young guy. He's only, 29 years of age. Miller is 26 years of age. You'll have control under Sears through the 2028 season. You'll take it. And now, I know a lot of people are concerned about giving up Leo DeVries, the Padres' #1 prospect, but hey, you know what? The Padres are in a win now mode. They need to be. With Machado, where he's at in his career, Bogarts, where he's at in his career, Yu Darvish. I mean, you got a lot of older ball players, and you got to win now. And there's no guarantee that Leo DeVries is going to make it to the big leagues or even make it as a star. I mean, a lot of people think he could be a star. I hope he is. I think he's a good kid. I was doing a good job down in high A ball, but probably not going to be here for 3 or 4 years. And who knows? AJ Preller right now is looking for a new contract. Remember, his contract runs out after next season. 2028 is his final season right now under contract. And he wants to win. He wants to get another contract. He loves living in America's finest city. He loves playing pickup basketball. And I think ownership told him, hey, go be creative. I don't think he could have been any more creative unless you gave him a paintbrush and a canvas. I mean, this was amazing what he got done yesterday. But getting Mason Miller, arguably one of the top 5 arms, let alone maybe top 5 relievers in baseball. Now, it sounds like Mike Schultz is going to go with Robert Suarez. I thought maybe Robert Suarez was going to go out the door, and I thought Dylan Cease was going to go out the door. I think there was more play on Cease than there was on Suarez. But now the Padres have as good a bullpen as there is in baseball. And I'm okay with keeping Dylan Cease because if something could change, now that trading deadline's come and gone, maybe he can relax a little more. Maybe he can get back to being the Dylan Cease we saw the majority of last year. But getting Mason Miller was a huge get. Now, the next guy we're going to talk about is a young man by the name of Freddie Fermin. He's a catcher from the Kansas City Royals. He's been playing behind Salvador Perez. Freddie Fermin is 30 years of age. He's an outstanding defensive catcher. He's got a pop time where it's it hits the catcher's glove till it hits the infielder's glove at second base at 1.89, one of the tops in all of baseball in the 90th percentile. The guy can flat out play. And I'll tell you what, I've had my eye on this guy for a few years because he was a backup catcher and he wasn't going to supplant a future Hall of Famer. He's getting more playing time now because Sal Perez is playing a little first base and DHing. I mean, he's getting up there in years, doesn't have that much time left. But Freddie Fermin can swing the bat. He's a 268 career hitter. This year he's hitting 255. Not going to hit with a lot of power, but he doesn't strike out a whole lot. This is a tremendous find. But what I was going to say, when Kansas City was here a couple of years ago, I didn't know anything about Freddie Fermin. He was very young in his major league career. And I said to a couple of people from Kansas City, I go, who is this guy? And they go, oh, his name's Freddie Fermin. I go, oh, I know his name's Freddie Fermin, but what's the story behind this guy? And they go, well, he just, come up through the minor leagues. He signed actually with Kansas City back in 2015. And he's 30 years of age right now. So, he signed, when he was like 19, 20 years of age and has put together a very nice major league career. He hadn't been around all that long. Padres will have him under control for a few years through 2029. This is the Padres catcher, folks. I think this is the Padre catcher for the next few years until Ethan Salas can get healthy and start making progress down in the minor leagues. I think Freddie Fermin's the guy. I'm excited about it, and I want you to be excited about it too because I think you're going to like this guy. I saw last night that Seth Lugo's wife sent out a tweet saying, you guys are going to love Freddie in San Diego, and we wish Freddie and his family all the very, very best. And that's from Seth Lugo's wife, and she knows what Padre fans are all about. So I thought that was really cool. I was really excited, but I want to go back to when I saw him play live a few years ago. And I talked to those guys from Kansas City, and they go, well, he's Freddie Fermin. I go, yeah. They go, well, he was the Venezuelan league most valuable player. He played winter ball and was the MVP in the Venezuelan winter league, and that's a dynamite league. I mean, you got a lot of big leaguers, ex-big leaguers, high-level players playing in that league, and he was the MVP a few years back. This guy can do it on both sides of the ball. This is a brilliant move by A.J. Preller, and I'll be very honest, I'm surprised Kansas City allowed this to happen. Now they got a couple of good guys that can help them out in the future in a variety of different roles. Ryan Bergert, who did, I think, a great job in the short time he was here in San Diego, and Stephen Kolek, who ate up a bunch of innings, did a nice job this year for the Padres. Both of those gentlemen are going to the Kansas City Royals, and you know what? My hat's off to both of them. They did a great job. Bergert just pitched the other day and did an outstanding job. So Bergert and Kolek going to Kansas City for Freddie Fermin. Okay, the next deal, and more of a depth deal. They pick up Will Wagner from Toronto. Will Wagner's a 27-year-old left-hand hitting middle infielder. He can play second, first, third. Not sure. I guess he could probably play a little shortstop if you needed. But he's Billy Wagner, who went in the Hall of Fame last week, the great closer in Major League Baseball. That's his son. And Will was playing up there in Toronto, hitting 237 this year. Very young in his Major League career. He's 27 years of age. Last year, in 82 at-bats, he hit 305. Padres, for the time being, they optioned him out to El Paso last night. So, we'll see where that goes. But you know what? Nice depth piece, a guy that can hit left-handed. Can play a variety of infield positions. You love to have those guys. Absolutely love to have those guys. And they gave up Brandon Valenzuela goes to Toronto, a young minor league catcher who at one point in time was kind of on the radar, but really hadn't put up a whole lot of numbers recently. Then the Padres, as the day is wearing on and it's working towards 3 o'clock yesterday, I thought Ryan O'Hearn was going to go to the Texas Rangers. He's from Frisco, Texas. And it sounded like Chris Young had that deal very close to the finish line. All of a sudden, boom, here comes A.J. Preller around the final turn and leans at the wire and gets not only Ryan O'Hearn, a 32-year-old first baseman, designate hitter, outfielder, they get Ramon Laureano. Now, here's another guy that I've liked for a long period of time. I liked him with the A's, but I got to tell you, the thing that kind of soured me on him was not the suspension. He got an 80-game suspension. That did not sour me at all. That unfortunately happens, and it happened to our guy Fernando. But Ramon Laureano just quit hitting and really struggled hitting. And all of a sudden, he's gone to Baltimore and he's found his stroke and doing a good job. And he can play all three outfield positions, right-hand hitter. And I'm sure he's going to start against left-handers, come in late in the ball game for Gavin Sheets out there in left field when they're, seventh inning on to play defense. And then you get Ryan O'Hearn, who, by the way, was the starting designated hitter for the American League a couple of weeks ago. And you look at O'Hearn this year, 32 years of age. He's a free agent at the end of the year, hitting 283, 15 doubles, 13 homers, 43 RBIs. And Ramon Laureano, who's 31, hitting 290 and 259 at bats, 17 doubles, 15 homers, 46 RBIs. And right now against right-handed pitching, he's been incredible. And I said they're probably going to platoon him, which you got to keep Gavin Sheets playing. Gavin Sheets has done a great job. But against right-handed pitching, check this out. That's why I was up late last night. I was looking at all kinds of stuff. But he has a 930 OPS against right-handed pitchers. And he's a right-hand hitter. Second highest by a right-hand hitter in the American League. That tells you how much Laureano has gotten better at the plate. And he played winter ball. I mean, his career was kind of teetering, to be honest with you. The suspension, not swinging the bat well, kind of living on his defense. And I thought, and I told some people yesterday, I can't believe how many text messages I got from people. What do you think? How about this? Or Facebook messages or X messages. It was crazy yesterday. I thought that he would come in a couple of years ago, to be honest with you. But then he got hit with that suspension. And the reason I thought he might come in is because Bob Melvin was his manager up in Oakland. And this is a great get. I mean, AJ had an incredible day. And then at the end of the day, and I don't know where this is going to go. I think this guy was just available. Not going to cost the Padres anything. They give up Brandon Lockridge, the outfielder. Wish him well. He's a good guy. Plays his tail off. Nestor Cortes, the former New York Yankee, going to be a free agent after the season's over. Now, I don't know exactly where he's at health-wise. He had a flexor tendon flare up in April and has only pitched in 2 big league games, but he's really close to coming back. And you know what? You gave up Brandon Lockridge. There's no room for Brandon here. He was going to play AAA the rest of the year. Maybe he can get up to the big leagues with Milwaukee. I don't know. But you know what? Not going to cost you anything to take on Nestor Cortes. And you know what? You may catch lightning in a bottle. You never know. So a great day for the Padres. I know a lot of people are upset about losing Leo DeVries. Don't be. Padres got to try to win now. A.J. Preller has to try to win now. And prospects are prospects until they play in the big leagues. And Leo DeVries is so far away. If AJ doesn't win now, who knows? AJ may not be here if Leo DeVries made it to the big leagues with the Padres. And, it's a win now mentality. You look at it, the NBA, you look at it in the NFL. Man, you got your people. You got to go get them. We got Machado. We're paying $350 million for Machado. He wants to win. The fan base wants to win. You got to win now. And you know what? I think AJ put the Padres in the best possible position to win now. Nobody can gripe about what this guy did yesterday. I mean, it was pretty amazing. And he didn't really give up a whole lot. He gave up a couple of back end of the rotation arms in Bergert and Kolek. He gave up a backup outfielder who was in AAA and Brandon Lockridge. I mean, he gave up a bunch of minor league guys. There's no question. And I got the whole list of where those guys were ranked. But again, they're minor league guys. It's that simple. I mean, in the A's deal, they gave up the number three prospect in all of baseball in DeVries. They gave up three right-handed pitchers. One was ranked third, one was ranked 13th, the other was ranked 17th. Okay, so once again, your farm system takes a hit. But apparently, the farm system's a little bit better than everybody, including myself, made it out to be, because there are other organizations that liked a lot of the guys in the Padres system, or they wouldn't have been able to make a lot of these deals. So they did a hell of a job yesterday. I mean, AJ and his staff, hats off to those guys. I sent him a message last night. I haven't heard back. I don't know. I would say he's sleeping. That guy don't sleep. But I sent him a message congratulating him. I go, what a day! Congratulations. I mean, really pretty amazing stuff. The Dodgers got Brock Stewart. They made a couple of other, minor league deals. They gave up Dustin May to Boston, and I'm not surprised. I had somebody call me last night. Are you surprised Dustin May got traded? I go, absolutely not. I go, you watched him pitch? And the other thing, he's going to be a free agent. And they probably weren't going to be able to keep him. And a guy, he's had a lot of problems. Not take away the esophagus surgery that almost killed him. But he's had two Tommy John surgeries. And, he's 26 years of age and trying to come back from a second Tommy John. And I like Dustin May, but he's going to be a free agent. And nowadays, even though he hadn't really performed and missed so much time, he would get a big bump. It's just that simple. So the Dodgers go a different direction, but they send James Outman to Kansas City or to Minnesota, Minnesota for Brock Stewart, a guy that was once upon a time a Dodger, helped their bullpen a little bit. I thought, quite frankly, the Dodgers would do a little bit more, but they didn't. The Giants, sent a couple of relievers and Yastrzemski out the door. Arizona, their two corner guys are gone, and Naylor and Eugenio Suarez. They sent Merrill Kelly out yesterday. So the West is the Dodgers and the Padres. And by the Dodgers really not doing anything really, really significant, that tells me they think a lot of their guys are coming back and coming back fairly quickly. Because remember, today, the Padres are only 3 games back of the Dodgers. Dodgers going to be in Tampa Bay for a series starting tonight. So I want to hear opinions. Yesterday, a lot of you shared your opinions with me through social media. Let's get out right now and hear what you have to say on Coach's Crew. Line them up, and we'll knock them down today. Lot to cover today. All right, a few weaknesses left on this team, but who plays against lefty pitchers among O'Hearn and Sheets do both sit in favor of OMG. You're going to have to play guys against, righties are going to have to go against righties every once in a while, lefties against lefties. There may be better matchups. Sometimes if a guy's not a hard-throwing lefty, it's okay to run a left-hand hitter out there. Tell you what, Padres, with their pitching staff now, and you can't do it regularly or you wear these guys out, but you come playoff time, your starters only have to go 3 or 4 innings. They don't have to go 5 or 6. I mean, even in the regular season, if this thing really gets tight and Mike Schilt wants to have a guy go 4 innings, he's got 5 guys down there. They were the 4 horsemen. Now adding Mason Miller, what are they going to be? Okay. But you got other guys, too, that could get guys out. It's not just the so-called big 4. Suarez and Adam and Morahone and Estrada. Now you got Mason Miller, and you got other guys down there that can do a good job for you. I mean, Wandy Peralta started to pitch really, really well. Yuki Matsui on a given night, he's doing a good job. He fills a nice role on this ball club. But who plays against lefty pitchers? Well, I would think Laureano would play in left field. Freddie Fermin's a right-hand hitter, the catcher. Both our catchers now, Diaz and Fermin, are right-hand hitters. So, Cronenworth's going to be in there against all comers unless you want to platoon Jose Iglesias. So Padres, whatever weaknesses they have, that's certainly shored them up. I mean, this ball club, it's hard to argue. We can find fault with every ball club. I'll be honest. I thought Cronenworth may be going out the door. I thought they want to dump that salary. And you know what? They may during the winter if they can find a taker. But he got to get hot. He's hitting in the 240s. That doesn't do a whole lot. And not hitting with that much power. He'll occasionally hit a double in the gap or hit a ground ball past the third baseman that'll, get into the corner, but he's not driving the ball. Not driving in as many runs as he used to. But he's still playing great defense. Made some great plays the other day against the Mets. By the way, how about that Mets game? And how about you, Darvish? Congratulations to you, Darvish, becoming the all-time winningest pitcher combined between Japan and the United States. 111 big league wins, 93 I think it was in Japan he had. But congratulations to you. You know what? He pitched a hell of a game the other day, and I hope he can continue to do that. 7 shutout innings, gave up only 2 hits the other day, no walks, 7 strikeouts, and the spin on his ball the other day, his breaking ball was just insane, absolutely insane. I guess he dropped his arm angle and went back to the way he pitched when he was a young pitcher coming over from Japan. And man, that ball was doing some crazy stuff the other day. I don't know how much you paid attention to it, but it was doing some crazy stuff. But hey, you know what? You Darvish, good job. And if he can continue anywhere close to that, I don't expect 7 shutout innings every time, but I certainly expect him to be better than he was in his first 4 starts. His ERA went in at what 9 plus, dropped it down to 6.46 and got his first win of the year. 204 career wins between Japan and the States. That's pretty special. And he's a good man, too. Appreciate that question. Let's keep him rolling. Casey King, good morning, Coach. As for trade deadline, I do like the addition of Brock Stewart for the bullpen, but I thought they needed a closer for the stretch run, and that concerns me. Your thoughts, Coach? You're talking about the Los Angeles Dodgers. Well, I think they're hoping to get Michael Kopech back at some point in time. Blake Trinan's come back, and he doesn't look that great right now. Maybe you got to get his feet wet a little more, but the 2 times I've seen him pitch, he hadn't pitched all that great. I know he got out of a jam the other day, but yeah, he doesn't look like the guy that I saw in the World Series last year. Vestia has been fantastic. The kid from Steel Canyon and Alpine, he's been absolutely fantastic. Dodgers are going to be okay. I saw that rookie they brought up, their top prospect, Alex Freeland, looks to be a nice-looking left-handed hitter. We'll see where it goes, but he has scorched a line drive his first time up for a double play the other day, and then had a nice single to left, walked, and got hit in the foot. But he looked pretty good. They look pretty good. Dodgers are going to be tough. Dodgers' biggest thing with them, they got to get healthy. And they got to get guys like Muncy back in the lineup, and they got to get a guy like Teoscar Hernandez to swing the bat a little bit better. Conforto, starting to show signs, but I'm never a big Conforto guy to begin with. I was really surprised they signed him to a 1-year, $17 million deal, and they signed him very early during the offseason. But hey, Dodgers, they still got a hell of a ball club. But I'll tell you what, I think Philadelphia, the Mets, Padres, I think they have closed the gap a little bit. Milwaukee, Chicago. I mean, all these teams are playing good baseball right now. It's going to be a fun race. Yesterday was the craziest day I can ever remember with the Major League Baseball trading deadline. And you know what was really strange? Normally you're always out there looking to get starting pitching. Now the game has become a game of relievers. But if you go back and think about the old saying, you win with your bench and bullpen. And that's exactly what happened. Now, the one thing we didn't talk about, and everybody liked to joke about it because I had it in my open on radio for years, you got to have veterans on the bench. Think about how much better the bench got yesterday. I mean, seriously. I mean, the bench got progressively better. And Bryce Johnson's still on the team, and I think he has a role on this team right now. Maybe they'll bring up Will Wagner later. I don't know. But, I mean, you got Laureano, you got Gavin Sheets, you got Jackson Merrill, you got Fernando Tatis Jr., then you got O'Hearn, you got Arise, Iglesias. I mean, you're mixing and matching guys, and the guys that aren't starting, they're coming off the bench. I mean, think about how much better the bench got yesterday. Just not the bullpen or the rotation, but in the everyday line, you got a better bench. You got the veterans coming off the bench. I'm not as dumb as I look. I've been around baseball a long time, and you got to have veteran guys swinging the bat. Young guys can't deal with it. They haven't been there, done that. They haven't played enough at the big league level. They always feel like they're on a tryout when they're a pinch hitter. Veteran guys know their roles, and who would you rather have? Some guy coming up that's basically a 4A player that's your fourth or fifth outfielder or backup infielder who's only played and had 250 plate appearances in the playoffs coming up to the plate, or would you like to have a veteran that can still swing the bat and deal with the pressure and know how to break down pitchers? I want that veteran every time. I want that veteran every time. But man, they got a lot better yesterday, folks. My son-in-law called me last night. He goes, "What do you think of the deals today?" And I think he was figuring I was going to be all upset about Leo DeVries. And he goes, "Man, I can't believe how happy you are." He goes, I can feel your smile on your face as you're talking to me. I go, "Matt, this is one of the best days. I mean, we got a whole lot better. We got a bunch of dudes coming in that can flat out play. And they're not like over the hill guys. They're guys that can play and are producing. I don't really care about metrics. I care about numbers from the standpoint, can the guy hit? Is he hitting 240 or is he hitting 280? What kind of numbers does he have power-wise? Does he drive in runs? Is he one of these guys that, hits a 3-run homer when you're down by 5 and strikes out when you're down by 1? I want a guy that can play in the clutch. What kind of mental makeup does he have? What kind of guy am I bringing into the clubhouse? Is he going to be a good fit with my guys? I think all these guys are going to be good fits. I really do. And I think AJ looks at that. He understands the chemistry of building a ball club. And every once in a while, you might take a chance on a guy, and hopefully he'll conform once he gets here because he wants to win. But Padres got so much better, not just in the bullpen, starting rotation, everyday lineup, but the bench. And you win with the bullpen and the bench, folks. Okay, keep the questions coming. Keep them rolling today. Andrew Nichols, losing Kolek and Bergert was a bit of a sting. It was. And I like those guys. I think they did a really, really good job. Between them, they made 21 starts. But Andrew, I'm going to tell you, give Freddie Fermin an opportunity. Go into it with an open mind. I think he's a really good player. And quite frankly, Kolek and Bergert were probably short-term guys here. They were back into the rotation guys. They were long reliever guys. Kolek's 28, Bergert's 25. They were expendable, but you hate to lose arms like that in your organization. But Andrew, I totally understand where you're coming from. But getting Freddie Fermin is going to be really help this ball club a great deal. And I would hope that Mike Schilt won't put him in the cooler. What I mean by that, I don't want him catching every third day. I want him catching 2 out of 3 days. He's in shape. He's 30 years of age. He wants to play, loves to play. And I think San Diego fans are going to love this guy. I really do. And again, he's going to be under control for a few years. This will be our catcher going into next year. I have no doubt about that. No doubt about that. But Andrew, I get it. I like both those guys. And I was disappointed when they first announced that Bergert was going. And then they put Kolek up. I go, man, both those guys are going to Kansas City. But you know what? It's probably a fair deal because we're going to get a starting catcher. We're getting a starting catcher. So I thank you very much, Andrew. Thank you and have a great day and enjoy the ball game tonight. St. Louis Cardinals in town tonight. Love the deal with the Orioles for the 2 bats, but overpay for Fermin. 2 starting pitchers have a huge value. One guy got optioned down to AAA. He was going to get called back up when needed. But no, I'll take the catcher. I like this guy a lot. And I feel like I know him because I've been following him since I saw him play here in San Diego a few years ago, and I've always kind of had my eye on him. So I'm pretty happy. This came out of nowhere for me. Came totally out of nowhere, but man, when that popped up on the trade alert yesterday, I was fired up because this guy can play, folks. And I don't want to say his career has been suppressed in Kansas City, It's just been his role behind a future Hall of Famer. And he's gotten more playing time this year because Sal's played first and DH more. But this guy can play. He was with Kansas City between the minor leagues and big leagues 10 years. That tells you what kind of guy he is. Number one, he's a good player. Number two, he's a good guy. You don't keep a guy in an organization for 10 plus years unless they're good people and can play a little bit. And he done a good job. But I hear you. They needed a catcher. They needed to upgrade that. And Martin Maldonado, good guy, great job behind the plate. In fact, the other day in their win against the Mets, he had 2 hits. Started to swing the bat a little bit better. He hit 204. I think his career average is 203. So I think his career probably is done. Somebody may pick him up, but I think he was going to retire at the end of the year. But you know what? Martin Maldonado, he got the most out of his ability. What a great major league career. Absolutely. All right. Thank you very much for that. And what else we got? Casey King. Also, I thought the Padres did well at the deadline, and NL West race should be a good one between Dodgers and Padres. I also thought Mets did well. Also in the NL, and their bullpen is stacked. I think both the Mets and the Phillies did a good job. I think they did a good job. And the National League is tough. I mean, National League's tough. And I think when you look at the teams right now, we're going to take a look at the rankings a little bit later in the program. Padres were definitely the last wild card. Okay, they may move up, but I can tell you this: they get into the playoffs now, they can do damage. Before yesterday, they were going to get in the playoffs and probably go out in the first, definitely second round. But now they're a real player to get to the World Series, and I'm not saying they're going to. A lot of factors come in. It's not when you play a team. It's it's not who you play. It's when you play them. And you get to the right team at the right time. You jump on them. One of the things I looked at, and I know Boston's coming in here after the Padres go over to Arizona, but a lot of the teams the Padres play here in the next few weeks, they kind of unloaded their players. So it doesn't mean they're going to be layup games, but it might be a little bit less difficult, let's put it that way. And the Dodgers didn't really do a whole lot. Padres were dynamic. Padres were right up there with anybody. And, I know Houston's all excited. Carlos Correa got traded back to the Astros, and he's going to probably play third base. I met Carlos Correa before he got drafted by Houston. He was a kid. I met him at the Hall of Champions in Balboa Park. Very nice young man. And I know he was in the big thing in 2017, but he's had a good career, but he wanted to get back there. Minnesota unloading all their players besides Byron Buxton, it looks like. And he'll probably be a Twin to end his career. Okay, let's keep him rolling. What do we got here? Dara, hey, Coach, sorry for jumping in late. And if this question has been asked already, how do you feel about these new players affecting the team's chemistry? Could this many additions lead to issues? It could. But I don't think it will. I think number one, AJ and Mike Schilt will talk to the new guys coming in, explain their roles to them. I think AJ and Mike Schilt probably talk to all the guys that were going out the door. And I would certainly think before tonight's game, Mike Schilt will have a team meeting, not to talk about, playing against the Cardinals and this and that. They'll have their individual meetings for that with their hitting coach and pitching coach and all that stuff. But, just to welcome guys to the ball club. And, nowadays everybody moves so much. Guys are going to know one another. They're going to have played with them in another organization or played against them or played with them or against them in winter ball if they played winter ball. I don't think this is going to be a big problem. I really don't. But you know what? It's tough. It's a tough day when you go into the clubhouse. Now, I would imagine a lot of the guys, considering the Padres were at home, I would imagine a lot of guys probably headed over. Now, Kolek was in AAA. Bergert was still here. Bergert and Martin Maldonado, they probably came and got their stuff out. They don't want to be around all that. They'll text their buddies on the team and say, "Hey, thanks," and they'll exchange pleasantries. But I would think a lot of those guys they want to go in when there's not a bunch of people around and say goodbye to the clubhouse guys and get their stuff and pack up. And they want to get to their new organization so they can show what they can do. So, I feel bad. I remember Dave Roberts when Dave Roberts was with the Dodgers. And everybody knows I know Dave really well. Um, Dave played on a Friday night, and Milton Bradley was on the team. I remember Milton Bradley made this incredible catch, and David had a good game that night at Petco, and he got traded the next day to Boston. And it was on a Saturday morning. I called him, and he was already on his way from his home down to Petco Park to pick up his stuff to get on a plane and get to wherever Boston was. They may have been in Boston or they may have been on the road. So guys, once they get traded, they want to make sure their families are okay, wives or girlfriends and kids or whatever, and call mom and dad, hey, I got traded. And then they want to get their stuff and they want to get going. Now, sometimes you get traded, during a game. We saw that yesterday. That young man Caballero got traded during a rain delay at Yankee Stadium from Tampa Bay. He got traded to the guys in the other dugout, the New York Yankees. So I'll tell you a funny story, and this wasn't on the trading deadline. And Dara, thank you very much, and hopefully I answered that question. This is one of the funniest stories you'll ever hear. Okay, this is way back when the ball club was at Qualcomm Stadium. I'm out there at about 3:30, and I was doing a night show, so I was on at 7 o'clock. So I went out to batting practice. And I don't remember what year it was. I guess maybe the early 2000s, maybe 99. I can't remember. And I'm out there, and I'm walking down the ramp to the Padre dugout to go out and watch early BP. And Seattle was out there taking batting practice, and their hitting coach was a guy named Gerald Perry. I think a lot of people remember Gerald Perry played for Atlanta, and he played for a few other ball clubs. He was a hitting coach for Seattle. Well, Gene Kingsale had been with Seattle. And all of a sudden, Kingsale walks through down the ramp in the Padre dugout and walks out onto the field. And Gerald Perry sees him. He goes, "Where you been? You're supposed to have been here a half hour ago." He goes, "Well, I got traded to the Padres." He's in a Padre uniform. And the hitting coach hadn't been notified that Gene Kingsale had been traded to the Padres. You had to be there to see this. And the hitting coach was dumbfounded. Kingsale was getting the wrath of the hitting coach until he told him that he got traded and he's wearing a Padre uniform. It was crazy. But you know what? Chemistry is a big part of it. I'll tell you, it's a big part of it. But I think Laureano and O'Hearn, I think they're going to be exciting. Miller and Sears are going to be excited. I think Freddie Fermin's going to be excited. He's going to really be able to show what he can do. And like I mentioned, Will Wagner got a ship down to El Paso, but I would imagine he's going to get up here at some point in time. Okay, let's keep those questions coming. Sure, we got a lot today. Oh, Mike, the trade with Oakland was unnecessary. We could have improved the bullpen without losing the shortstop and still had all the other players. I don't know. I don't know how you pass up a guy like Mason Miller. And you end up getting a starting pitcher. Granted, his numbers aren't great, but maybe the Ruben Niebla factor will help J.P. Sears get better. But I'll tell you what, I'd rather have Mason Miller than the Dodgers get Mason Miller, and I think they were in on him. So I'll be more than happy to take him off the Dodgers' hands. I'm not going to worry about prospects. I used to worry and get so hot and bothered about prospects, but they're prospects till they play in the big leagues. And you know what? C.J. Abrams, we knew he was going to be good. We saw him at the big league level. We knew he had to get stronger and, develop a better and more consistent throwing arm. He's done that in Washington. I saw Mackenzie Gore pitch in the big leagues, knew he was going to be good. We traded away guys we actually saw in the big leagues. James Wood was tearing it up in the minor leagues, hadn't seen him in the big leagues, but you could kind of figure he was going to be okay. Those guys were much more proven than Leo DeVries, who's in a high A ball right now and hitting 235 or 245. Nothing to write home about. So don't lose sleep over that one, Mike. I think once we see Mason Miller pitch, and it may take him a while to get his feet wet. He's going to have a bad outing here and there, and nobody's perfect. But you know what? The margin for error trying to hit that 100-mile-an-hour fastball, you better be ready to roll, man. You better be looking for a certain area. You'll never even hit a loud foul ball. All right, keep them rolling. Let's keep going today. We got a lot of them. What is it? What do you think the lineup will look like? Um, I would think O'Hearn is probably going to hit um, probably six, maybe. I think it depends on right-handers, left-handers, but I don't see it changing a whole lot. I see, Bogarts is swinging the bat really well. Uh, to be honest with you, I think I would put O'Hearn in the cleanup spot. I'd hit Bogarts fifth, and I'd hit Jackson Merrill sixth. That's what I would do. And Jackson's starting to swing the bat a lot better. There's no doubt about that. In fact, I wrote a note down for the program today. I got to see if I can find that note. Had so many notes that I wrote down for the game last night. Now I'll find it at some point. Um, but he swung the bat really, really well, and starting to come out of it. But I think I'd hit him sixth. I think I'd hit the veteran O'Hearn fourth. But we'll wait and see what happens tonight. But it's going to be some like that. And I would imagine Freddie Fermin will probably hit ninth, eighth, or ninth. Probably ninth, and that's okay. That's okay. He's going to do a good job behind the plate. And I don't want to hear this. Well, he's got to learn the pitcher. Yeah, he's got to learn the pitcher. This guy's been around. He's young in the big league, been around baseball a long time. Caught a lot in winter ball. This guy's caught all kinds of guys. So, he's a smart guy. His metrics, they tell me behind the plate, the framing and all that stuff, pretty good. So, well, we'll see. But I would think O'Hearn going to hit either fourth or sixth. I'd move Jackson, I think, down to sixth. But you know what? This lineup, man, they extended this lineup out. And Freddie Fermin extends the lineup. He's pretty good hitter. Pretty good hitter. And doesn't strike out a whole lot, which I like. Strikeouts, nothing good happens. All right, what is it? Thank you very much. What else we got today here? All right, hi, Coach. When Michael King comes back, who's going out? Good question. Very good question. And at this point in time, it always seems like it works out where somebody's got a sore shoulder or whatever. But you know what? That's a good problem to have. Um, I don't know. I mean, in this series, we're going to see Pavetta tonight. We're going to see Vasquez tomorrow. We're supposed to see Cease pitch on Sunday. I don't know when JP Sears is going to make a start. I didn't look to see when he pitched last. But you know what? Michael King making good progress. He's supposed to throw a Saturday or Sunday. And if he goes out there and feels good, then I think his next start will probably be in the big leagues. So we're gonna have to take a look at this roster. Who knows? The Padres may, move some guys in and out today to AAA. You don't know what they're gonna do, but they did DFA Trenton Brooks last night, the hometown kid from Granite Hills. DFA'd him and DFA'd Martin Maldonado and optioned out a newly acquired middle infielder, first baseman Will Wagner to El Paso. So, yeah, Michael King, keep my eye on that tomorrow or Sunday, going to pitch for El Paso. That's last they told us, but we'll see what Mike Schultz says tonight in his pregame. All right, keep them rolling. What else we got? What do you think about Nasty Nestor's chances of getting in our rotation? Well, if he's healthy, I think he certainly has an opportunity, but you know what? Uh, Brandon Lockridge wasn't going to probably get called up again, especially with the other trades you made, bringing in Laureano and O'Hearn, who can play the outfield if needed. You already got Gavin Sheets, Bryce Johnson doing a good job. So Brandon got an opportunity to go to an organization. Maybe he can, get to the big leagues again. He's a good guy, plays hard. I like him a lot. And he can help you. He's more of a fifth outfielder than he is a fourth outfielder, but he can bunt, he can run a little bit, he can play the outfield. Is a tough out at the plate, not a great hitter at the big league level, but he's a tough out. Takes his hacks up there and works. I mean, he's a real working class ball player, Brandon Lockridge, and he has to be. But I wish him the very, very best. But I think Nestor, he's got to be healthy. If he's healthy at 30 years of age, he can help the ball club. And if he's healthy, he's going to want to go out and pitch well because he's a free agent. So, hey, you know what? If you catch lightning in a bottle, who was it? Martin Garcia, was it last year? The left-hander? Or Martin Perez, excuse me. Martin Perez, the left-hander, who did a nice job for the Padres. And who knows? Maybe they're trying to catch lightning in a bottle with Nestor Cortes. Those left-handers, man, you never know. Love left-handed pitchers. All right, what else we got today? Okay, we got to get to the standings. Let's get to the AL standings first. Take a look. I think the AL is still very wide open. You got Toronto's playing great. Yankees definitely got better. They got some help on the mound, no question about that. Uh, they got to figure out when the big guy Judge is coming back. But the Yankees will be tough. I saw they picked up Austin Slater the other day to play the outfield. But they're 3.5 games back. Boston hanging in there. We're going to see Boston here in San Diego before too long. Tampa Bay, they dismantled a lot of guys. They got a bunch of guys hurt yesterday. Dodgers playing them this weekend. They're still in it. Tampa Bay, they still think they're in a wild card spot. And then Baltimore, probably the most disappointing team in baseball this year. Tigers have definitely slowed down. They were killing everybody, but since the All-Star break, they've had their struggles, but they still have a 9-game lead. Kansas City 9.5 back, and the Twins, they're dismantling their ball club. White Sox, they traded Aaron Hauser yesterday. Luis Robert stays. Nobody wanted to pay the price for Luis Robert Jr. that they wanted because it's going to be a rental because nobody's going to pick up his $20 million for next year, and then there's another 20 for the following year on a club option. So it sounds like the White Sox may pick it up, but I'd let that guy go. And I know he came up through the organization. I know he's a talented guy. May go somewhere else and go crazy, but man, look at his resume. Other than a couple of years ago where he went crazy, his career hadn't been all that great. In the West, I watched the game last night between Seattle and Texas. Seattle hammered Texas last night, so they're a game up on them in the wild card for the third and final wild card. But Houston, they got a better yesterday, getting Carlos Correa. They're a 4.5 game lead over the Mariners, 5.5 over Boch. Angels did some things yesterday to try to keep themselves in the wild card race, but I don't think they can get there. And I think they're going to have to either give qualifying offers or they're just going to lose guys. And I don't really know what the Angels are doing. And the other night they had the Angels in the outfield. You may have seen it, man. They were all over Artie Moreno, telling him to sell the ball club. And I don't know. I enjoy watching the Angels. Their guys play hard. They're not all that talented. They got a few good players. They got some good young players. But I don't know what the future holds for the Angels. But they're 4.5 games back in the wild card. I just don't think that they've got a team that can sustain a 5, 6, 7 game winning streak to really get back in it. Okay, let's take a look at the wild card in the American League. See what we got there. Boy, after yesterday, folks, I got to tell you, it's going to be just a race to the wire. Let's get to that. I want to get to the wild card standings, Jonathan, in the American League, and then we'll get the National League up. Let's dive back into the American League real quick here, and then we'll get to the National League, and I'll break that down a little bit. And you can still send your questions in. If you got questions, go ahead and send those in to me, and we'll answer those. We're also going to get to Coach's Mailbag before too long. But we'll get to the American League wild card. John, if you're having problems with that, let's go ahead. We'll go to the National League, and then we'll get back to the American and National League wild card. Go ahead and give me the National League wild card right now if you got it. Jonathan's working. I'll tell you what, I got to give Jonathan a lot of credit, man. He flat out got the job done when it came to getting these pictures. And, man, there's a lot of moving parts. Okay, AL wild card. You got the Yankees, 60-49. Boston, right there. And then Seattle, a game up on Texas, 3 games up on the Guardians, 3.5 on Kansas City. Hey, don't rule out any of those teams. I mean, the Angels are 4.5 back. I don't see them climbing up all over those teams, but Tampa's a player. Kansas City got better yesterday. They got Mike Yastrzemski, by the way. That's going to help their ball club along with the pitching they got from San Diego. So they're going to be a player. The Guardians, 3 games back, and then the Rangers 1 game back, and Rangers got 3 more games this weekend up in Seattle. Okay, let's take a look at the National League now. Man, this baseball season, I'll be honest with you, I'm sitting there yesterday at about 2:40, and I'm going, you know what? This baseball season now is really starting to get good. It really is. We got a chance here in San Diego, but let's take a look. The East, the Mets. How bad were they? Or better yet, how good were the Padres? They outplayed the Mets in every aspect of baseball over those 3 days. Every aspect, pitching, hitting, fielding, base running, they did it all. Padres totally dominated that 3 game series. But the Phillies, they're a half game back. Everybody else also runs in that division. You got a 2 team race in the NL Central between the Brewers and the Cubs, and that very well may go down to the final 2 days or maybe even the final day of the regular season. And then in the West, stick a fork in the Giants. They're 54 and 55. All kinds of hell breaking loose up there. They're all over Buster Posey, all over Buster Posey, trading guys off. And Bob Melvin said the other night in their post game, he goes, "We put the front office in a very precarious situation." And they traded off a couple of key bullpen guys. They traded Yastrzemski. They're, I guess, going to try to rebuild for next year, but you never know. They could. I'm not going to rule them out. They're going to still, with some of their starting pitching, they're going to still be tough. But they're 9 games back in the division. Padres only 3 games back. Padres playing good ball right now. Arizona, stick a fork in them this year. Dropped to 8 of their last 10, and then Colorado's Colorado, 28 and 80. My God. Unbelievable. Okay, let's take a look at the wild card. Jeez. 28 and 80. Man, I wouldn't sleep for about 3 months if I was managing that ball club. National League wild card. Here you go. Cubs, Phillies, both those teams are going to be in. Padres, 3.5 game lead now over Cincinnati. Cincinnati doesn't have the wherewithal to jump over the Padres unless the Padres just spit the bit. We're going to get to the playoffs. We make a run now to the division title. Remember, like 3 weeks ago, I said, you know what? Padres may need to sell because they're going to be a fringe playoff team that's not, they're going to get there, but not going to be able to do any damage. And you got all these free agents. Well, you know what? Now, because of what A.J. Preller did yesterday, we go from being a fringe, a very, very fringe playoff team to a team that realistically could win a World Series. We could have a parade. We could have a parade. But if we don't make any moves and we stay kind of where we were, we're not going to have any kind of parade. We'll have to wait for the Holiday Bowl parade. But we have a chance now. I mean, you get Michael King back. If Darvish can come back and pitch like he did last year, and I'm assuming, he's knocking some rust off in those first 4 starts. He went the other day, man. He looked great. I mean, he changed his repertoire a little bit, but he looked great the other day. So you get King back, you get Darvish back, you got a guy like Randy Vasquez who can go out and give you some innings even in the playoffs. Yeah, you hope Pivetta continues to fire. I mean, we got 3 good starters. I mean, you can start Pivetta, you can start Cease, you can start King and Darvish. I mean, there's 4 guys right there. And then Randy Vasquez could be a long guy in the playoffs, or, if you wouldn't go to 5 in the playoffs. I mean, 4 would be plenty. And with this bullpen, are you kidding me? You can shorten games. You know what? They stole this from the Dodgers. Dodgers won the World Series last year in the playoffs with about 2.5 pitchers. And what I mean, 2.5 starting pitchers, because their bullpen was deep. Mike Schill is going to be like a mad scientist. Somebody had to come up with a caricature, a cartoon. I had to get a hold of my buddy Ernie Martinez. And he had to come up with a caricature of Mike Schill with a white coat in a lab, trying to mix and match these relief pitchers. I mean, this is amazing, the bullpen that they have created here in San Diego. You got some guys here that make other players on other teams very uncomfortable. And when those guys are coming to San Diego, they're going, oh man, that bullpen. We don't want to see that bullpen. And that's the God's honest truth. I mean, you want to go up against all those dudes that are throwing 100 miles an hour? I mean, they got dudes that are throwing 95, 96, 97, 100 miles an hour. I mean, Suarez throws 100 miles an hour. Estrada throws 100 miles an hour. Mason Miller throws over 100 miles an hour. Are you kidding me? Crazy. Crazy what these guys could throw. I don't know how the human arm allows that to happen. And it doesn't happen all the time for a long time. Usually guys break down. But pretty amazing stuff. Okay, do we have any other live questions today that we need to get to? Okay, let's get to our coach's mailbag. A couple of questions from the last program. Do you think the Seidler brothers heard rumblings from fans and decided to make moves? Um, yeah, I think they probably don't listen to talk shows. They probably don't watch podcasts. They probably don't listen to the evening news, but they always know. And again, I don't know. I'd have to, and you never know cash considerations and this guy and that guy's bonuses. I don't really know how much money the Padres took on. We'll probably find out. I don't really think they took on all that much. I really don't, but we'll wait and see. But yeah, I think they probably heard. And AJ's going, hey, man, we got a chance to get these guys. And AJ, man, hats off to him. When he comes to my Christmas party this year, I got to buy him a couple of beers. I mean, crazy what he did. Crazy what he did. And in fact, he can bring a whole front office to the party this year, and we'll take care of him. All right, Fandom Pods. Was very sad to see Leo DeVries gone. Hope he doesn't turn into a superstar we regret trading. You know what? If we win a World Series or even get to a World Series, it was probably worth it. Yeah, Mason Miller is a big component of it. And I don't want to rule out JP Sears. He's a very serviceable left-hander, can help the rotation. And you have both these guys under control for a long time. Sears through 2028 and Mason Miller through 2029. Do you realize how much money that's going to save the Padres by having a starting catcher like Freddie Fermin under control till 2029 and Mason Miller under control and JP Sears under control? Yeah, they're going to get little bumps here and there, and they'll eventually get to arbitration. But man, this saved a lot of money going forward. It really did. Ramon Laureano, I think you can bring him back next year. O'Hearn's a free agent. But Laureano's another guy. You may have already solved your problem in left field for next year. And you're going to try to bring back Gavin Sheets, I would think. But if he doesn't, at least while you got a starting right-hand hitting left fielder. So we'll sort out a lot of this as they get here. But Padres are sitting in good shape. They're in really good shape. Hey, what else we got here today? Got anything else there today? Cardinals 3-game series. Okay. Boy, this is going to be interesting tonight, isn't it? Because I don't know exactly who's going to be doing what and who's going to bat where. And I'll tell you this, I'm excited about Freddie Fermin behind the plate. I'm a big fan of this guy, and I'm really excited about him being here. Okay, tonight, 6:40, left-hander Matt Liberator, 6-8 and a 4.04, going against right-hander Nick Pivetta, extra rest, 10-3 and a 2.81. Saturday, 7:10, because of the Fox window, Padres got to play at 7:10. St. Louis, right-hander Michael McGreevy. They beat him up pretty good last week in St. Louis. 2-2 and a 4.91, going against right-hander Randy Vasquez, 3-4 and a 3.65. And then Sunday, 1:10, you got a young man from Southern California, right-hander Andre Palante, 6-7 and a 4.62, going against Dylan Cease, 3-10 and a 4.79. And when we come back on Monday morning, man, we're going to have a lot to talk about. Seeing all these new guys, give us your thoughts on what you saw, what you liked, what you didn't like. But you know what, folks? Give these guys about 10 games and let Mike Schilt go to work as the professor. That's what I'm going to start calling him, the professor. He's got his lab. He's got to put all the potions together and see what comes out. The professor, Mike Schilt. That's what I'm going to start calling him, the professor. Sound good? Got those glasses. Just got to get him in a white coat, white lab coat, and he can go to work. And we can have AJ popping his head through the door asking Mike, how's it going? But AJ did his job. Now the Padre players have to do their job. By the way, this weekend is the Hall of Fame inductions. I want to congratulate Antonio Gates. I feel really bad for Gates. I'll tell you why. Because if the Chargers were still here in San Diego, there'd been a lot more made of it. There'd probably been some kind of celebration or, honoring him. Um, Antonio Gates was a great pro, never a problem, on the field, off the field, a true gentleman, Hall of Famer. I want to wish him the very best and thank him for creating so many great memories of him and his career coming from, college, where he was a college basketball player, and what he was able to do with the Chargers. And I want to congratulate a guy that I thought, in my opinion, deserved to be put in the Pro Football Hall of Fame many years ago. Eric Allen from Point Loma High School played for the great Benny Edens. Benny was a great guy, knew him well, and he played at Point Loma, Arizona State, played in the National Football League for 14 years. He's finally going into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So I wanted to wish a San Diegan and Eric Allen, and a guy that spent his entire career with the Chargers, Antonio Gates. Congratulations, well deserved on both accords. Now, remember, I need you to subscribe to the channel, like it, send in your questions, and please tell a friend. And again, we're on different platforms. We're on YouTube, San Diego Sports Talk. We're on Facebook, John Kentera. We're on X at Coach Kentera 44. So have a great weekend. Let's see all of our new toys here in San Diego this weekend. Let's have a great series against the St. Louis Cardinals, and we'll reconvene with everyone on Monday morning at 9 a.m. Until then, have a great weekend, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.